This is Let's Talk Tribe, the official Let's Go Tribe podcast, episode 107. I'm your host, Matt Lyons, and in this week's episode, we're going to look at realistic reasons to be optimistic in 2016, some not so realistic reasons to be optimistic in 2016, and look at what the Indians might be doing with their roster construction, a video company founded by Trevor Bauer and a freelance photographer, which is kind of really neat talking about players, and of course, we'll answer your questions. Joining me for all that and more is, of course, Mr. Merritt Rolfing. Merritt, how you doing?
I'm just sitting here trying to think about what the national newspaper in Russia is.
Is that important to your day-to-day goings-ons?
My entire life is rank inanities, so I think it's pretty important to me, Matt. Yes. If I can't remember this random piece of trivia, what's the point?
We definitely don't have to discuss the fact that I didn't know where Washington Post was based just a few minutes ago. That's fine.
No, we won't touch on the fact that you thought that was a Seattle Washington newspaper.
Listen, Amazon is in Seattle, so they bought the one in Seattle, so it made sense.
Listen, Seattle's newspaper is called The Intelligencer, all right?
All right, nobody wants that, clearly, so.
Whereas the New Orleans one is the Times-Picayune.
That is awesome. Everything around New Orleans just sounds cool.
In the W.C. Fields movie, not the Bank Dick, the other one, the newspaper was
called...
the
Bank Dick? Is that a thing you just said?
The Bank Dick, yeah. Bank Dick back in the 30s was a cop who worked at the bank.
He was a dick, or?
I don't know.
Or is that an official position at this bank?
Yeah, no, it was a precise role. Imagine head of security today. But anyway, the newspaper was called the Picayune Intelligencer. It was always kind of funny. You know, if you like 1930s movies where it's basically... Well, what was that TV show with the sitcom All in the Family, right? Where the dad was kind of an old racist. Kind of looked like him.
Kind of, yeah.
Anyway.
He was the dick of that show. See, it works out.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I Googled the Bank Dick.
There was baseball. Not really that happened, but we got things to talk about now. So before we get like the actual things, that kind of reminded me of something I wanted to mention. Is that all these people saying that like the off season's better this way because we have more things to talk about because nobody signed. Like, screw that. No, it's not. We ran out of ways to talk about Bryce Harper and Manny Machado like the first week. This is the point usually where we could just look ahead and not worry about all that. But we have like 100 free agents not unsigned, so you can't really look ahead to the season yet, and it sucks.
Yeah, we can't look at the players. We can't project what they may become, how the team is. Now, that's what February is for God's sake, is putting the imaginations together from all the disparate bits of free agency and whatnot, and trades and whatnot. The hot stove, whatnot.
Right, the hot stove is only fun when it's like things happen and you get to talk about it after, not constantly being on.
Yeah, the whole point of the hot stove is you sit around the hot stove and you discuss things in the cold, cold winters in Iowa. Jeez, it's like these people don't understand where these terms come from originally.
I mean, to carry it further at this point, we've just been sitting with our hand on the stove and just waiting for something to happen, and our hand is on fire at this point.
Trying to see if we still feel pain, exactly. And turns out, no, I don't. So it's great. Do I feel alive? I'm not sure anymore. It's fantastic.
Well, if the Indians can do anything to hopefully make us feel alive in 2019, there's a couple things that Michael Bowett at Waiting for Next Year wrote a really interesting article. It was basically just telling people to stop being so pessimistic in nicer words, but it was a really nice way of laying it out of how the Indians are probably still going to be really good. Lost in all of the Indians, one of all the teams that aren't spending a bunch of money they don't need to spend. They don't have a great outfield. Yes, they don't have a great bullpen, which you would possibly write that they have either one of those. But they're still going to project to be one of the best Indians teams in like the last 60 years. They have almost five really great pitchers. And one of the best things I saw that he noted was that Edwin Encarnacion, Lonnie Chisenhall, and Yonder Alonso all combined for 2.5 WAR in 2018. Carlos Santana might clear that himself as he is conservatively projected to obtain a 2.1 WAR. So that's a big part of what the Indians did, I think. They got rid of three players. Although, to be fair, if Lonnie Chisenhall is a full season healthy, maybe this whole thing is blown out the window.
Yeah, he's like a 3.5-ish in my dream. Yeah, 5 in my dreams, 3.5-ish in reality.
But Encarnacion and Alonso alone, like that's... If you replace that with just Santana, that's a super good move, and that's what they did. And I mean, Jake Bowers isn't terrible if he can, especially if he can play the outfield somehow because he's athletic. But I don't know. I think there are a lot of legitimate reasons to be excited in 2019. I just don't want 2018 again. That's all I care about. I don't want to see that season again. But if they can be any kind of exciting and have 4, almost 5 Cy Young starting pitchers, it's hard to be really upset about where this team is right now, I think.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, that is one thing I didn't even think about, the getting rid of Encarnacion and Alonso, who produced really miserably, to be quite honest with you. I mean, there was a constant hope that Alonso. I probably wrote 3 different articles that used a varying level of sample size, judging that Yonder Alonso was finally breaking out back to his 2017 pre-All Star break form, which is increasingly looking like a total ruse. Um, Edwin is just, I mean, they dumped him at the right time, I think. I think he's going to hit a decided downswing. Not everyone is Nelson Cruz, and Edwin is one of those people who's not Nelson Cruz. So he was
I mean,
very
he's
hell of
lasted a
before he
lot
did.
longer than anybody would have thought because he's like
I
well into his
guess.
30s, and the
He's
Indians are dumping
30.
him at the first sign of decline, which is really smart, I think.
Right. No, exactly. I mean, and again, you look at his numbers after his pre-June swoon, he was what, a 124 WRC plus kind of a guy. He was producing, but that's the kind of number he puts up for the entire year when he has the crappy first 2 months, and then he crushes the ball from June on. So it was definitely a smart move in that respect. It sucks to see it happen because like this is a big right-handed power bat, but raw numbers wise, it's really it's nothing to get too worked up over. Plus, I think a lot of
Yeah,
people liked him, but it's not like he really ingratiated himself to the fan base on the level of, say, a Michael Brantley or anything like that. He wasn't in every sense of the word, he was a mercenary. He was a guy who came over to try and get them over the top. It didn't work uh, at all. If anything,
and I
everything
think
got
it got
worse.
lost a lot last year that he really wasn't that good even. Like
Right?
2017
No,
was pretty good, but last year he wasn't very good.
no, exactly. And between him and obviously Alonso, who was barely league average bat, if at all. I mean, I believe he ended up with like a 99 WRC plus, which is fine for a second baseman. If they had gotten that at Kipnis, that's fantastic. That's kind of what I'm hoping for in 28 or 2019. But getting that out of a guy who's supposed to actually hit the ball was disappointing to say the least. And at least they got stuff back for him, so that's a positive too. It's not like they just kind of, I don't know. I think like a young pitcher or something like that. I don't remember that trade
I
offers.
actually don't remember who they got back for Yonder Alonso because
Let
that
me
was
get
basically just a salary dump, right?
pretty much.
Like,
Yeah,
'cause
I
they
think
got Santana
I
and
think they got
Bowers, and
they
they,
got some minor league pitcher or something like that. I don't know. I'll look into it, but suffice to say, I mean, Bode is right. Bodie, I don't know. They are going to be very good in 2019. If you've read any of the articles that I've written about Jake Bowers, I mean, there's reason to be excited about him. They got Alex Call, did the Indians.
oh yeah, that's
Um,
right.
he's in high A, spent a little time in double A outfielder. So, a guy we won't see for 4 years, like 2 or 3 years. He's 23, so not 2 years probably. But
Yeah, if they didn't have to send
um,
any money over, I mean, you got a year at Alonso, you didn't need him anymore, and you got a reliever for it, so cool.
yeah, and hey, maybe this outfielder will work. He's not left-handed, so that's a step in the right direction.
One of them has to
Um,
stick, Merritt.
Eventually, one will stick, Matthew. Eventually, it's gonna work. They're gonna find an outfielder.
That's actually what I wrote about last week, is that I think that's part of what they're doing. Like the Indians are sort of forcing Tito's hand and not giving him a Michael Martinez to block everybody.
I know, yeah.
Because I mean, if you just want to say that it's like the Indians being cheap, that's fine. But I also think it's they have all these outfielders they've acquired. They want to see them used, so they're not just signing like Melky Cabrera, which I think is cool. They're sort of forcing Tito to use his young guys and not give him the kind of guys he probably loves. But I think Jordan Luplow could at least do something, at least, and make it. I mean, he's projected to be almost worth a win. So
Yeah, no,
um,
and I mean that's based on not a whole lot of past history, if you will. So I don't know. I feel like they've been churning through these mid-level prospect outfielders for the last 4 years, and like you said, eventually one's going to hit. So maybe it'll be Call, maybe it'll be, I don't know, Bowers, like we talked about before. Maybe eventually Nate will learn how to not swing at a high fastball. Maybe Greg Allen will turn into something good. I don't know. Um, but like you said, I think you said something.
yeah,
Uh,
and Leonis Martin. I mean, he's still there. That's.
right. No, and
I
I
think
think
I've seen
that's
him on Twitter a couple times remind fans that he is not dead. He's he's the starting center fielder. So I think it's missed that the Indians do have a legit center fielder to play
mhm.
next year at least.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I mean, for all we poo-poo the phrase "run prevention" because it's just code for we couldn't find any bats. At least they'll have a good outfield defensively, I think, and that's something they haven't really had for, I don't know, a while. I guess when they were, whether the outfield was involving Rajai Davis or, I mean, whenever they could get Bradley Zimmer out there, that was always a positive. But I don't even know when he's going to come back at this point. So We'll
I mean,
see.
Michael Brantley wasn't great either by a lot of
Oh, he was dreadful. No, he was a
numbers.
terrible outfielder. I
Yeah.
mean, good arm, but beyond that,
I mean, think about it. At some point, we might have Martin in center, Greg Allen, and Bradley Zimmer on either side. That's it's like the whole
Oh,
outfield is covered at
oh
that
yeah,
point.
that's your classic run prevention outfield. I mean, and eventually again, I don't know. I still have hope in Bradley Zimmer. So I the creeping negative cynicism of old age is getting to me every now and again, even only 32. But I try to hold on to that positivity, because hey, it's still New Year, and
He's
they
so
are still
fast,
really
man.
good. I know.
He's just
It is what it
Waluigi with speed. It's so good. I want him to be so good.
Who? Oh.
Bradley Zimmer. He is straight up Waluigi with speed. That's what he
He
is.
does have a long, long face.
If they ever like dress up for Halloween and he's not Waluigi, I'm giving
So
up
if
on him.
he's Waluigi, who's Wario?
I'd almost think that would have been Yonder. Not that he's fat, but he's built like a centaur, so he's got like those huge bottom legs. He's the
Okay.
closest to being like a large Wario man, I think.
Okay, so then Mario is Carlos Santana.
Is he? I mean, I put Francisco Lindor as Mario just because he's the star, I guess.
Hmm. Okay, I was thinking someone else
You're
well,
just
because
going body
Alonso
typey.
kind of, yeah, body type and also similar position and also belovedness by fan base, kind of. Because some people
He's the
love
opposite. Yeah, I guess
Wario,
that's true. I
you
do like
know?
that take on it.
Yeah, there you
All right, then
go.
who's Luigi? I mean, that could also be Bradley Zimmer. That's the problem.
No,
Bradley
no,
Zimmer
that's
is
true.
every tall, lanky
No, they're
character.
completely different. I mean, while Luigi is not lanky, he's just kind of less chubby than Mario.
I mean, he's
Luigi
tall.
would probably be
Luigi would have
because
been
remember,
Michael Brantley, I think.
Luigi is kind of the opposite of. It's kind of like a mirror image of Mario, whereas Wario is the negative of Mario. So Waluigi is nothing. He's the mirror image of a negativity. So it's all a very interesting concept. I've read many
That is
articles
very
about this
deep
one.
merit.
You know.
He's like the mirror image of Zero, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. And so, what is the square root of zero? Nothing. Even deeper, nothing.
I'll have you know that Luigi had his own year, and screw you. I was always
Hmm.
Luigi when I was little, so.
Well,
And I
you're
was always
stupid.
tall, so I was always Luigi. And he kicks
Well,
ass in
you're
Smash Brothers. So you know what, Merritt? You just take your Luigi hate and your Zero and take it somewhere else, quite frankly.
first of all, Smash Brothers is a stupid game, and Mario Kart will always be a better game. And second of all, Luigi was a terrible person to pick in Mario Kart. So I always liked Waluigi. I was always a fan. He seems
But
nice.
he's one of the heavies. You don't use the heavies, you use Toad. Everybody knows
No, I
that.
do use the heavies with the big Cadillac cars. Why? I don't know. Because I'm an idiot. I drive in style. I'm trying to win here, and then when I do win, it's fun.
Yeah. So something back to sort of baseball related instead of
All right.
Waluigi, as great as that is. Um, Another thing we kind of want to talk about is I don't know. I guess it's just we're talking about the reasons to be optimistic for the Indians. I think we mentioned realistic ways to
Yeah.
be optimistic for them, but there's also been like a couple weird articles on Indians.com that just seem very. I think you put it as like rah or what's the other word I'm looking for? Like selling the
Overly
corporate line
positive to
kind
the
of thing.
point. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Selling a
There
company
you go.
line. I think
Yeah,
that's kind of the way I was trying to wrap my head around it.
yeah. Because
Uh,
there's two. There's the first one that came was that the title was Tribe Pen stacked for 2019. There's ways I would describe the bullpen. It's not stacked. It's not one of them. And then I think it was today. The other one was youth and depth is key in the tribe outfield. Okay, youth maybe, but depth is. I don't know if I'd call it deep. I don't
no,
think I'm like
and you know what?
terribly off on the outfield, but
I understand the spin because they don't really have any great outfielders. They have a bunch of mediocre ones, aka depth, just like the bullpen. They have one good pitcher and then a bunch of question marks, also rans, and bad pitchers. So again, stacked. Stacked not with good stuff, but it is stacked with players. I
there
mean,
is
it's nice
stuff
that
there.
you can have a big stack of rotten cordwood. You still have wood to burn. It's just going to be stinky and smelly. So I don't know. I'm reading that article and the other one, and I don't know. And this is the thing I've noticed on a lot of MLB.com team sites and things like that. There does seem to be especially lately, it seems as though it's kind of ramped up the last couple of years, a propensity for towing the company line as opposed to producing something approaching good journalism. I mean, I really liked Jordan Bastian, considering that he was literally a company man his entire career because he came from Toronto, and then he was in the Cleveland, and now he's in Chicago. But the new person, Mandy Bell, I mean, she's new, so she's probably just going to lay the land still. But and I guess it is hard to write this team stinks over and over. I know that. I've written that article many times. So maybe she is trying to find some positivity, which is good. And maybe the team does need that. But
And I think if you dug a little bit, I'm sure you could find these same posts from Jordan Bastian. I don't feel like it's just any
I think
specific writer. I think at some point the teams eventually say like, well, I guess teams can't say this
right, and
to the
and
writers,
that's what
but
I'm wondering. Is there like it's
let's see
hard?
here.
It's
There's usually
hard
a
to
disclaimer at the bottom that the team had nothing to do with the article. I
sure
wonder
no,
if
and I,
that's
and, I,
unusual.
and that's fine. You can say that all you want, but I don't know. It's just how often or how am I to? It's hard to put an impartiality to it, and this is not something I'm only feeling now. I always kind of wanted that about Bastian and Castrovins before him, or any of the guys who even write nationally for MLB.com. I mean, they know where their bread is buttered, and the league as a whole does need to, you know, grow its footprint and things like that. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just overblowing something or something. But it's after a while, you just I don't know. These
I
are
don't see the
articles
disclaimer
you
anywhere anymore, so I don't know.
hmm. Oh well,
Remember at
that's
the bottom
very
it always used to say
interesting.
like the what?
Well, it's that, and then also the other thing is too. If you go on to MLB.com proper, all the articles are just the clickbaitiest headlines ever. It's things that just like. All right, so it says Indians acquire reliever Whitgren from Marlins, and then but the top one is Machado still holding out for Yanks offer? Which, of course, according to Betteridge's law, the answer is of course no. But these 7 clubs have unfinished business. That is a nothing article about nothing, which is what baseball is right now. It's literally nothing happening. I don't know. I would like, you always want impartiality and you want some level of, objective journalism that actually delves into these things. And it's hard to find that these days elsewhere in media in general, because there's like 4 newspapers now. So I don't know. You read those articles over and over, especially when you see the Indians doing nothing and you can see the writing on the wall of the outfield being terrible. Like, I don't know. I don't know what article you're supposed to write, but whatever that article is, I would like that one instead.
Yeah,
I don't
I've
know.
always thought of like the Indians and like the specific team sites were the ones where you got the most like access, not necessarily the most impartial things.
Yes, and that's fair.
Yeah,
But I don't know. And again, I guess maybe I just thought what's his name was doing a great job or something, and maybe I was just misreading it or something. But
yeah.
I
No,
don't know.
these 2 articles are definitely weird. I don't, but they're not. It's definitely not like an opinion post from the author either. They're clearly just like it's just stating facts in a row. And she probably didn't even pick the titles. That's another
Yeah.
thing to keep in mind. Like I don't think she says anywhere specifically how like stacked the bullpen is, but yeah, it's literally just yeah, you know what? Now I'm turning around on this. Because take out the title, and like if you look through it, all
Yeah.
she is just telling you who's in the bullpen, and like somebody picked the title.
Oh, okay. Well, and maybe that's my real problem. Whoever's doing the
Yeah.
headlines on MLB sites now must have been fired from BuzzFeed or something,
Yeah, because
because
it even says at the beginning that this is just going around each position and looking at the players. Like this is just a roster preview, and somebody's picking very wrong titles, like very team friendly titles.
hmm. Well then, I hate that even more because it's lying to you and not telling the truth of what the article is.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
stupid, and I hate it. Why'd BuzzFeed have to
Yeah.
fire all those goddamn journalists? Should have kept them penned up. We'd all be much better off.
And in a broad sense, I don't always hate like clickbait titles as long as what's in it somewhat matches. Like the is Machado holding out for more money from the Yankees? Like I'm sure they have more information if you click it about if he is or isn't. I think I saw that he is, but even if it's not that much, as long as you're clickbaiting into something interesting, I think it's good. But this one is like straight up lying. The titles.
But even with that article, you just say, "Is he?" The answer is you write what it is in the headline. Machado holding out for more money from the Yankees, and then you describe discussions with his agent. That's what it should be. Damn, man.
Yeah, see, this goes back to this offseason sucks. Like, there is no redeeming quality of having free agents sitting here this long. This isn't fun. We
Plus the
should be
Indians.
talking about next season at this point.
Plus the Indians' Twitter account is trash. So, oh god.
They do like their memes now. They do. They like to recolor things, and there was a SpongeBob post, which, by the way, during the Super Bowl, because Sweet Victory was barely used, so it was really funny. The Indians were one of them, but watching all these like accounts just post these SpongeBob things that were supposed to be when Sweet Victory played like it was supposed to, but they didn't want him to go to waste, so they just sent him out anyway. The Indians literally just tweeted a picture of Squidward in a baseball uniform. I was like, all right, somebody made that and they put work into it. I respect that, but there's no reason to use it, and they sent it anyway.
I didn't know what Sweet Victory was until very recently. So, yeah.
Really? You never watched SpongeBob?
I didn't. I watched it very early, and then I don't know. I haven't watched it, and I don't know. I don't know when that episode debuted, but it was probably
that's a relatively early one, I think. Like the first couple seasons, because I watched it when I was a kid. Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, what are you, 14, right?
I'm 29. I'm 3 years younger than you are. That show has just been around forever. All right,
no
man.
Concept of time. Don't worry. Anyway, point of the matter is, someone should fire these headline writers because these are distracting and confusing article names.
Yeah, I even feel like when Jordan was writing, they were always weird article names, but I don't know. Yeah, I didn't look at it deeply before, but after looking at it now, I've definitely come around these articles that it's literally just a roster preview, which is fine. Like, we'll probably do them too. Like, you don't offer a ton of opinions, you just kind of state what every player is and what might happen, but then the title is like Tribe Pen is stacked for 2019.
I'm writing an article next week that says the bullpen is a dumpster, and the picture better be a dumpster, and that's all
and it's just listing the position players.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. No, not even any other words, just the names.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, listeners, look out for that next week.
I thought there's gonna be more Jake Bauers hype articles. That's what I really wanted, Merritt. I want more Jake Bauers.
I'll probably pop out another 2 or 3 of those before the new season begins, because there's something else I could find. I did that really neat article about his plate discipline that I thought was very good, and I was very proud of that.
Yeah,
and then I wrote something else. I think I've done 3 about him now.
I mean, he's really intriguing. It's just an interesting. Most interesting to me is that they traded Yandy Diaz for him, or part of the trade was Yandy Diaz.
Right, and well, the other thing that intrigues me about him too is just I don't know if it's just them doing it so as to raise his trade value, but the Rays front office was reportedly very high on him his entire minor league career. So that's something. I don't know what it is, but it's something definitely.
Yeah, and there's one of my favorite things to do when there's a trade now is to like go and look at other fan sites, not even necessarily like SB Nation, but like other places where fans come around. And it seems like every single trade this offseason, other fans have hated it. Because the Indians have been so good at because the Rays loved Jake Bauers. All the fans did. Yeah. Oscar Mercado, they were Cardinals fans calling him the future center fielder. Even Jordan Luplow and Max Maroff, Pittsburgh fans were like, who's Eric Gonzalez? Why do we trade these two for him?
That was
so I don't know. It seems like
turns into literally anything. By the way, that is a heist. I mean, that is highway robbery. If they get a full time, they get an everyday, even a mediocre everyday player out of that, that is highway robbery.
One win Jordan Luplow, and the trade is done. We're good now.
Yeah,
I'm pretty much good with that.
I mean, I did write articles about how I thought Eric Gonzalez was turning it around and turning into a good hitter because I'm a moron.
Oh no, I did too. He had a week where he looked really good.
Oh yeah, no, he was fantastic, and I don't know, you need articles to write about throughout the year, so you find things, and that was one of them.
Yeah. So one of the other things I wanted to mention, it's not really basically a non sequitur, but it's kind of a neat new business that it's called Momentum, that Trevor Bauer and a freelance videographer, Tyke Green, they co-founded, and it's basically just like a video platform for players to tell stories. So far, it's been really Indians focused, but I actually asked Tyke if that's intentional. He said no, it's just because that's who Trevor knows, so they've been going to them first. But they also have stuff on Javi Baez and Jose Barrios. But it's really cool. It's super personal and in-depth stuff with the Indians players. I mean, Mike Clevenger in one video just had a glass of wine and was talking about stuff. And it's the best promotion that the MLB has had in a long time, and MLB has nothing to do with it, which I think is kind of great.
They're the
But they should
absolute
really take a
worst at
lesson from
promoting
this.
their
And like,
players. Oh yeah, no, they're so bad at it. I don't know anything about Mookie Betts. You know, he just won MVP. I don't know anything about Christian Yelich. He just won MVP. I know Mike
right,
Trout likes
yeah.
the weather. He's boring. But beyond that, you know, like I don't know anything about Paul Goldschmidt. I'm just looking at a list of the top of the top hitters in baseball this past year. I don't know shit about these guys. I know stuff about Alex Bregman because I followed him on Twitter for a while because he was fun because he used to really razz highly conservative fans of the Astros and really piss them off. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, no, you know, like it's just the one of the no team is better at marketing their stars than the NBA, and one of the ways they do that is by making them personable and relatable and knowable. You know, like I like Mike Clevenger. I don't know anything about him. I know he likes wine, and I know he also that outside of that uniform, he is fucking jacked. And I don't know. That one video he did about trying to fit in his rookie year, like things like that. You know, like baseball has such a
Yeah, that one's
wall
cool.
around it, just as a whole. Like it's like whether it's access by reporters or knowing anything about what's going on behind the scenes. Like there's just such a wall around the entire game that even after all this time of connectivity and it being reported upon, the fans know about nearly as much now as now as they did back in the 50s, and it's nice to see a peek into. It was always nice to see a peek into the process of Trevor Bauer training in the offseason, doing his work, more so than just like you see the highlight clips of Corey Kluber throwing a medicine ball against a padded wall or whatever,
All those
like seeing
dramatic,
the
like,
day to
slowed down
day.
workout videos, those are so dumb. They always
Right.
have the wire things they're
Exactly.
wave in the air. Like, that doesn't tell
Yes,
me anything. I
exactly.
get it, they work,
No,
yeah.
it's a good. There you go. Look at you working on your flexibility. I'm not even sure, but like the minute study and everything like that, like it's nice to see what these guys go through because again you see them out there just standing there staring at the sun half the time. To see these videos of them not only doing the work but also obviously being human beings, I think is, like you said, it's vital to the league, and it's way better than anything that baseball has done on its own to market any of these people. They're so fucking bad at marketing players.
Well, we've talked before about, like, one of the problems is that in the past, it just seemed like they were just some dudes playing baseball and anybody could do it, and that's sort of gone
Yeah,
away, but, like, Mike Clevenger talking about how he basically wanted to throw up and he was trying to fit in, and it was so hard for him just to be a regular person around other people. That was, like, really relatable. That's like,
yeah, no,
"Alright, I
exactly.
could do
Like,
that and be nervous out there, like, just like Mike Clevenger." Like, that's the kinda thing they need, not, like, more like you said, those stupid workout videos.
yeah, I hate starting a new job enough. Like that part sucks. Imagine starting a new job that's also incredibly insular into these people who you're going to spend 99% of your life with for the next 6 months, and also you have millions of dollars of pressure on you every moment you're performing. So and you have, well, in the Indians' case, 5,000 people staring at you while you do it. Zing. Uh,
2 full rows loaded with people watching. The shipping containers bearing down on you.
and not even just there, but then you end up in Chicago and 500 people are just staring at you forlornly. But in all seriousness, no, it is really neat, and it's also very funny that of all the people to do it, it's Trevor Bauer because he's just such a, I don't know. He seems like the opposite of the kind of person who'd be making a thing that's making people more relatable because he seems like a very hard guy to crack. I guess is what I'm saying. He seems like he really walls off people. Although, as we've heard the last year or so, he's been much more ingratiated to the team and being more personable around his teammates. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, it's
Where's Taiki Green from? Does he work at Driveline also? I've heard his
no,
name
he's
a
not
few
wor he's
times.
he's just a videographer, I think.
Is he?
But Driveline is
Okay.
involved a lot because 'cause they've already had Kyle Boddy on and do a I guess
There you
one of the
go.
documentaries is gonna be on Driveline, which is cool.
Also,
Um
Kyle Body's built like a brick shit house. God damn. He's so big. Could wreck anyone's shit. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so that's kinda cool. I think it's neat. I had nothing else on that. I just wanted to bring it to people's attention that I think it's neat it's gonna come out.
Yeah, no,
Like, the
again,
Mike
it's really
Clevenger thing is
rad.
part of a bigger documentary they're doing. I guess it's all part of bigger documentaries, which is really cool.
The stuff about this when he's talking to Barrios too, just about the curveball and stuff like that, and He just is like, I like to watch this stuff on on the Pitching Ninja Twitter feed, and then he just comes to me and says like, man, how do I learn how to throw like you? And it's like it's so cool to see how these guys watch each other and just think they're all so sick with it, and I don't know, they're all such fans of each other and fans of the game itself, and you wonder about other sports like that. Like I know you read a lot about like in football, guys do it. Even though they don't like it, it's like a job. But I wonder how often how prevalent rather that is in baseball just because of how much minute study there is as opposed to the raw physicality of football, which is not to dilute football. Football is incredibly hard in its own right, but yeah,
Yeah, but it's a lot of you could just focus on hitting people and just treat it as a job more than you need to spend so much time on every little tiny thing on baseball. That makes sense.
yeah, it's got 162 goddamn games. Hmm.
So every Monday, we ask everybody on Facebook and Twitter to ask us some questions, especially this time of the year because, good lord, nothing's going on. We just want to answer questions. You can always ask us at Let's Go Tribe on Twitter. I think on Facebook too, that's our at. So, or you can just email me, mattar.lines@gmail.com. So the first question is going to be from at mhutton722. He wants to know, is ownership aware of how much this offseason has depressed the fan base and potentially damaged ticket sales? Poor at Indians account can't post anything without getting inundated with snark about an outfielder bullpen help, and I don't blame fans. So the first part, I don't think you make decisions based on ticket sales, year to year ticket sales. I think the Indians tried to do that with Edwin Encarnacion. If you remember, he even had incentives for higher attendance happening as a result of signing him. I
Yeah.
didn't look and see if they met him, but I'm assuming not. But that's just not how it works, and you don't do it that way. You just sort of do what you can within your financial limitations, whether those are real or artificial, whatever. Those are what Chris Antonetti has to work with, and those are what you work within. It's not. I don't think it's we sign this guy to bring in more tickets. Um, that's a good side effect, but you're signing him to win baseball games. Like that's going to bring you more tickets in the end than having an Edwin Encarnacion or whatever.
Oh yeah, and as I've heard and read countless times from many different people, the best way to draw fans is to win a lot. I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, the outlier is obviously the Cleveland Browns, but football is also an outlier in the world of anything. So like, the Astros drew garbage for years when they were bad, and now they pack the place because they're really good. Again, the Cubs are another outlier, but like if you're really bad, you're not going to draw fans unless you are doing something really really special in terms of the atmosphere. I guess like Fenway Park is a tourist attraction. Yankee Stadium somehow is still a tourist attraction, even though the stadium's only like 10 years old. Same thing with Fenway Park. Or rather Wrigley Field. If the Mets were any good, they'd pack the place, but they're bad. Yeah, and yes, the Indians have been winning, but I guess the Astros are the perfect example, winning in that sense, not winning just a bunch of games. But and again, like in 2017 when they were on that winning streak and stuff, when they were just crushing it, they put a lot of butts in the seats that year. They did. I think they did okay this year too. I mean, I know they weren't that high, but like they were better than in the past. So I don't know. I mean, I know there is the meme of the Dolans being cheap and stuff like that, which they are. It sucks they don't spend money. I want them to spend all their money. I want them to give me all their money. But
Now this might be kind of
I don't
stupid,
know.
but is it worse that they went to the World Series first and then lost instead of having like a few, like if they had a few 2017s in a row, would people have kept coming and getting excited and then waiting for the World Series? Or now is it like only if we don't win the World Series, it sucks because we were there once?
That's a very interesting point.
I
I
wonder if they
mean,
blew it by being too good and not winning.
obviously on its surface it sounds really stupid, right? Like objectively. But at the same time, there was this massive tease and you're like, "You know what? Next year when we're healthy, we'll do it." And then they get bounced and then they get bounced again. So, yeah, if we could move 2016, if we could shift it all around one year or something like that, maybe they'd be just the place would be packed this year, especially the Cavs on a downturn and the Browns only now getting pretty good. Maybe. I mean, that's a interesting way to look at it. Something that probably I don't know. It sounds almost counterintuitive, but
Yeah, because you're
you
never going to
know,
get that unexpected excitement of 2016 back until this core, with this core anyway. Like the expectation is always going to be World Series or it's not as good as 2016, so who cares?
right? And also too, I was reading something about this is sort of apropos of this. I was just reading about Clay, about the Warriors. Clay Thompson, he's going to be free agent, I think, at the end of the year, and he wants to sign with the Warriors, but he wants a max because he's like, first of all, I deserve it, and second of all, any savings they make on not signing me, they're still going to pay the luxury tax. So, does it make sense in the long run for the Warriors to pay $200 million as a luxury tax this year and build some sort of create a mega dynasty like the Bulls? Like the Bulls are still a legit marketable franchise, and they've been trash for a long time. They had that little blip there with Derrick Rose, but like I don't know, does spending money create more money in the long run like that? You see what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
so I don't know. I guess the counterpoint could be the Cavs because I don't know how they're doing on fan base and stuff like that, but they also have a terrible owner. So and the
I
team
mean, the
don't really
Cavs is
matter
like
with
all
coach.
LeBron James, right? There wasn't like a love for the
Right,
team; it was a
exactly.
love for LeBron James. Yeah.
That's true, exactly true. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, spending the money obviously builds goodwill to a degree with the fan base, especially after they buried the goodwill. But this is a little upsetting to watch. What is happening? The lack of investment in what is objectively a once in a lifetime sort of a team to come together all at once. This is what a lot of teams fight for and want to happen and then fail. I mean, how many times have we seen the Padres rebuild in the last 15 years, right?
Yeah.
They've been
Well,
the
yeah,
class
they've
like
they've
twice.
always been like a when they rebuild, they go for it in 1 year and then give up like immediately.
Yeah. No, exactly. But and or like the Mariners, they haven't made the playoffs in 18 years or something like that.
Yeah, and
So this what's happening here is a confluence of events that is rare to say the least. And so to see the non-investment, I can understand what the question asker is saying. I mean, I'm upset. I'm sure other people in the fan base are. I don't know what I don't know what you know season ticket numbers look like, but
yeah. Well, see, I'm still holding out being upset until the trade deadline because I think I know it's lame to say it now, but the market inefficiency is getting these because nobody wants like the half year players anymore, but that's all the Indians need. So like
right.
get
No,
to the
and
trade
I
deadline
don't.
and get this guy they need for the playoffs and get him super cheap and hope they win. So
Oh no, and I agree with you 100%. I mean, I'm just. I guess I'm just a little upset more in the. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to put together. Maybe it's a combination of being upset with inaction, but also the weird holes in their player development that are holding them back in comparison to like the Astros or something. Like we were talking about earlier, their utter inability to develop an outfielder after having three first round picks. And none of them. One was traded away, and two of them have been major disappointments. Or I don't know, just stuff like that. I mean, they've developed good catchers, they've developed good infielders. It's just and then bad bullpen pitchers too. Just I don't know. How many times have I ranted about that too? Their inability to create a good fireballing reliever. And I know one of them was supposed to be good, but then he got hurt and stuff like that. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure again they're going to be really really good this year, and plus the whole division blows still anyway. So it's just
so here's an
stupid.
interesting
That's
one.
all.
Oh.
Go ahead.
At Cody Miller 91, he wants to know: do you think Trevor Bauer and Corey Kluber will both be with the Tribe at the end of the 2019 season? So I guess this goes back to will they make a trade at the deadline? Because at this point they're probably not going to trade him before the season starts. So what do you think,
Hmm.
man? Are both of them going to be on the team at the end of the year?
I think it would be if they're on the team at the beginning of the year. There's no point unless the Indians collapse. Like on the level of 2008. And that just seems so hard to do with the level of pitching they have. There's no reason to think that they won't be there. If they're there on opening day, they'll be there whatever the last day of the year is that the Indians have, October 29th or whatever. Yeah, no, I just unless they do trade them, I don't know. Nothing's happening. So
I mean, unless you're
there's
John
there's
Morosi,
missed.
then you are very sure that Corey Kluber is being traded. Damn it, and you're going to keep saying it until it happens.
Well, there's all these mystery teams in on Harper. What if one of the Indians on a 1 year deal? Like I don't know, whatever.
Well, that would. Can you
For
imagine what happens if the
$40 million
Indians
for
signed
a
him?
year.
That'd be insane.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
At Jim J Page, he asked, "Was killing the Chief worth the All Star game?" Yes, I don't think that's why they killed him, but I mean that's probably like the last straw for killing him. But I think it's good that they did, and it's worth the All Star game. It's not worth having that awful patch on the shoulder, though. having the
Yeah, we're
guitar.
just going
That
to the
thing
Black
is. I
Sea.
get that Chief
Goddamn, like
Wahoo was bad
literally,
for several other reasons, but that guitar is just hideous and awful, and we're going to have to look at it all
the
season.
whole thing's bad, man. I mean, the uniform as a whole is pretty nice, but just the lack of imagination. There's something that's infecting that entire organization when it comes to design. Like from the Twitter account to the logo, like there's just nothing. Do something.
Well, you can't
Make
play into the
something
Indian
good.
thing anymore. That's the problem. I mean, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
They shouldn't do it. That's the thing. Like, so you can't like
Well,
build up
I
your.
don't know. Why not? Why can't you just have a feather? Why not? Why can't you?
Yeah.
Are we voiding the Indians thing, or are we just assuming that that name as a whole is gone in the next 5 years or 10 years, whatever?
Well, see, that's the thing. If they're at the point where they can't use it to market, like, why not just kill the name? Like, if you can't play into your name at all and you have to like constantly dance around what your team name is, just change it and then rip the band-aid
Yeah.
off and have better marketing going forward. And also fix your Twitter account because it sucks right now.
I mean, I really like the name Tribe. Like that is an
Yeah.
actual name, but I like having an alternate name to refer to a team as. I know a
Yeah.
lot of teams have the Bombers or the Yanks or the piles of crap in Flushing. That's the
I mean, you
Mets.
used
But,
two for the Yankees there, so that was good.
I know. I'm trying to think of any other ones.
The
I
Bombers,
don't
the
know.
Yanks, the Yankees, the New York team.
New York AL. O's, I guess. I don't know. What else do the Orioles have?
That's not credit because it's a
Rays don't have
letter.
any of
Is
that.
there any other good ones that aren't just like letters?
Um,
The Stros. That's just
Stroh's is
shortening the
pretty
name, though.
good. Stroh's is a pretty good bad kind of beer too, so that's nice.
The Halos. There
Rangers
we go.
got
The
nothing.
Angels.
The Halo, yeah, there you go. Yeah, the Halos.
That's a good
That's a
one.
nice one.
Oh, now I got a
But
liqueur.
everything else is just a letter. Twinkies, obviously, they don't like Twinkies though.
Do they actually call themselves
Uh,
Twinkies? Yeah, I guess they do.
I don't know. I think it'd be fun if they called themselves the Pauly Boys for St. Paul. I'm just
The
gonna start
Royals
doing that.
garbage. Is that what they call themselves?
Nice, nice. But yeah, this is the thing. I like
Got them.
like I of all the things I don't want them to go with for the reasons I don't want them to go away from the Indians. The fact that I like to say refer to them as the tribe is just it's nice. It's fun to write. It's fun to read. It's fun to say.
Padres and
So
Friars.
I don't
That's a
know.
cool one.
Oh, that's the best one
Right.
actually.
Yeah. There we go.
Also,
There you go.
dads, which is another
The
good one.
yes, the dads. I guess Brewers and Brew Crew. I mean, it's usually part of the name, and
Brew
that's kind of
crew,
cool. Sorry, I'm stuck
yeah.
on this finding alternate names now thing. It's really cool.
Cubbies,
No, yeah, I
I mean
guess.
that's kind of
Fuck them
weak.
though.
The Cardinals are stupid. What
I
else
guess
we
that's
got
it, right?
here? Tiger Motor. I've seen the term
Motor
Motor
City
City
Kitties.
Kitties.
Yeah, it's so stupid. What are you doing, Tigers? You're dumb.
Pirates have the Bucks,
Yeah, there you go. What is that? Oh,
the
Buccaneers.
Buccos.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, that's about it. Marlins have have the fish.
Or Finns, right? That's their thing. They're the Finns. Look out! Here
No, that's
come
the
the Finns.
Dolphins. That's the Dolphins.
No, Marlins are referred to as Finns, right?
No, that's you're thinking of the fish.
I am. But,
Fish.
oh, Finns, Marlins. Hold on.
Nationals have the Nats.
No, that's just shortening.
That's a
Doesn't count.
bad one.
No, I
Could we
guess you're
refer to
right.
them as the Senators if we wanted to? Probably not, because that name is probably owned by either the Rangers or the Rock.
Do the Marlins really call themselves the Fish?
Yeah,
You people
definitely.
suck.
Oh, whatever. It's a good
But yeah, no,
one.
I agree. I think the Indians being able to call them a tribe is neat.
I
If there
guess if
wasn't
you're a
the,
bird team, you put yourself as the Birds.
that's
So I don't
lame.
know.
Every team does that. So let's pick another question here.
Anyway, I like saying tribe. So
Right.
that's
So
why
they should keep it for that reason.
reason.
At BLUI1131, he asked, do you think Sandy will take over managing the team when they sack Francona mid-May? That's kind of a loaded question a little bit. But on the subject of
Yes.
Sandy taking over eventually, do you think it says something that no team has hired him? He's interviewed quite a few places, and he's still on the Indians. Does he just love the Indians that much? Or is there
I don't
is
know.
he
I
not
mean,
that impressive?
I wonder if that's what it is. Like you said, I've thought about this myself. Is he just a bad interview? Like,
Yeah.
I
He
don't know.
seems like a quiet
I, d- I
guy, so
don't.
maybe.
I don't think he'll take over. I think the obvious answer is Josh Tomlin. I've thought he was going to be a manager for years now. I've actually had that article idea in my phone for like 3 years. It literally says Josh Tomlin as replacement for Francona. In parentheses, it says Callaway will be gone by then. So I mean, I was very
I'm gonna leave
prescient.
that
I wrote that
title
in the
as
book.
is when you post it.
Yep.
No context.
But I think it'll be him. I think he'd be an interesting choice. But
Josh
I
Tomlin
don't
as the
know.
manager? That's never
Yeah,
even
man.
crossed
Yeah,
my mind before.
yeah. He's gritty.
Yes, gritty.
Other stuff. He knows how to win when he doesn't have his best stuff because he's never had his best stuff.
That is a good point. I mean, there are people that say like really good players don't make as good managers because they don't have to. They're not used to like struggling and telling people how to be better.
Right. I've always thought that
Like,
Peyton Manning would be a terrible quarterbacks coach.
right? Like, why aren't you making that throw?
Just
Just
do
do
it.
it. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Did you see
You
me do it all
idiot.
those times?
Read the defense. What do you mean? Read it. Look at what they're doing. It's obvious, you moron.
And then the opposite end of that spectrum is Josh Tomlin.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it's not terrible. And I found this picture of him at a podium. He looks very managerish. So
There you go. Except for
you
his
know
fucked
what?
up facial hair. So there you go.
I can see that
There you go. You're welcome, everyone, for putting that in your head.
because I can't think of anybody else currently. I don't think it's going
No.
to be Sandy. I don't think he just seems so like quiet and he seems like he'd be more of a Brad Mills type somewhere, not really like the manager, the manager to the manager, the assistant to
Yes.
the manager.
The
And he seems like he'd be great at it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, no, I'm with you. Yeah, he's a good consigliere. He stands there. He wears his little helmet. It's great.
So our last question we'll do here will be at a Stonehand. He asks, is Lindor going to become a Yankee, Dodger, or an Angel? Here's a depressing question,
Angel.
Merritt. When Francisco Lindor leaves after the 2021 season, first of all, is he going to leave? And do the Indians have like any shot at bringing him back? He's going to make so much money.
Oh, yeah. I think they have a shot. I mean, it involves a lot of money. But
that it does.
I mean, just to be straight up. But, well, the Yankees don't need him because they have a good shortstop in their own right. The Dodgers have a good one as well. I like the idea of him being on the Angels if they can hold on to Mike Trout too. Yeah, so I go with Angels. I'm okay with that because they have halos, so that's good.
Sure, they are the Halos. That's a good one.
There you
Yeah, I
go.
think they're really going to regret not being able to sign him to that 7-year, $100 million contract. Imagine how much of a deal that would be now if you got that. Because back then, like he didn't even have his almost 8 WAR seasons, so he was pretty good, but he wasn't as good as he was last year. But there's
The
no
guy
chance.
bet on himself and he won, man. He's good for him. I'm very impressed.
I still wonder if somehow it's what's his name, Brady Chernoff spoiling it, like got under somebody's skin that it leaked out, and that's why he didn't sign it.
God damn you, Brady!
Because that was like one of the best spring training things that ever happened, but it was also might have been terrible. I don't know if it's a coincidence, but
yes. No, I enjoyed that a lot. Stupid Brady Chernoff.
Yeah. So, Mary, anything exciting coming up?
Is this the year I buy my pillow? I think it was a very good question.
That is, I think at one point I photoshopped a picture of Francisco Lindor on one. So if that comes out, I'm going to buy it.
Okay. Although the answer is don't. They aren't worth a shit. So I don't know.
Do you have a My Pillow, Merritt? Is that what we're
Me? I don't know. There's one response to that question on Twitter.
Oh. So. I am going to buy, I think I'm going to rebuy like the physical version of RBI Baseball 18 just because there's Lindor on the cover. Is that sad?
Yeah, right.
Like when it gets really cheap, I'm going to buy it. That's pathetic,
I was going to buy a copy of FIFA 17 because that has, let's see who's on the cover of that one. That has, who is that dude? Marco Reyes.
Wait, so why are you going to buy that?
Dortmund. Because I like to buy old sports video games because I don't play online.
Is that just a thing?
Yeah.
No, then you need to buy like Madden 2005. That was the last good Madden. And there's no good baseball games, so who cares?
The last good Madden was 2007 because there were a couple of reasons why. It's the last. Jamarcus Russell is in it. It's the last one with.
I like it. That's the lead. That's the last good like all-star mode, right?
It was the last one with Michael Vick before the whole dogfighting thing. It was the last one. It was after Brett Favre retired briefly. I don't know when he was on the Jets.
Is that the one with Vince Young on the cover? That's peak cover athlete.
I think it was, yes, because I owned that one for like years.
That's like the last one that had a really good superstar mode.
Is it bad now? Oh, that one had Sean Alexander on the cover.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. 2008 was Vince Young. But like
Yeah.
superstar mode, then like you could go behind the player and go to training and stuff. I think it sucks now. Like it's not that same camera anymore.
You know what I really liked was like superstar mode in NCAA games because you started in your like high school football championship game was the first game you played, and that was how you were scouted for recruitment.
Well, that's. And then couldn't
Oh,
you
that was
transfer
pretty
that
neat.
over to like?
Yes.
Yeah, you could transfer
Yeah,
it to
you
the
could
Madden.
play
That's
and you could
cool.
play through your whole thing, and then you could transfer to Madden. You could just enter the league as like a 99 across the board, a 99 7'6" quarterback who also plays linebacker.
Anyway, I'm gonna cut all this out, so I'm gonna say bye real quick, and then we'll keep talking about it. So bye, everybody. Talk to you next week. Anyway, Mary. So the other good one was the first one I played was Madden 2000.